Hey, hi, my name is George, and this is Glenn.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Glentastic. So, we're here today just to tell you a story. A story about Glenn and I, how we started. And you're probably on the other side, like, I don't care about your story, but guess what? Now you're going to care. Why? Because everything in life connects to where you're at. And I think that's a great life lesson. We actually never thought we were going to be here. Contributing to our communities and also making a living out of it. Hopefully, you can enjoy and kind of like relate and yeah. So why don't you start, Glenn?
Well, just to give a little backstory about my life and how I started before I came to Homeinc. Before I was in the real estate industry, I was in the trucking industry for a long time.
Wow.
For about close to 15 years, I was driving trucks. It was a good career until I decided to take a change. I want to do something different, and real estate has always been my passion, so I decided to do real estate. But prior to that, I was born and raised in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from Miami,
Yeah.
Miami native. My family's Haitian from the Caribbean. Yeah, like I said, from Miami, born and raised. I did go to college when I graduated. I graduated in '95. Completed about a year and a half, didn't finish. I was into the film industry. That's what I wanted to go into. From there, I wanted to go into like engineering and to go into home theater systems. I love stuff like that. I love technology. That's another passion of mine besides real estate. And from there, I didn't complete. I did about a year and a half. Things happen in life, situations. I had a daughter very young. So some things I had to set back, but everything worked out. Everything I had to put those things on hold and then take care of family. So that's when I jumped into the trucker industry. I was 21 when I had my child. She was 21 years old. My family, my father, he was a very militant man. He's from Haiti. Very strong upbringing from him.
Yep.
Still a lot of values in us.
And how do you think like all of that, like how your upbringing, all that stuff, like basically led you to now finally be full time in real estate?
Discipline, responsibility, becoming a man.
And guys, this is no joke, but I think our story basically collide at some point because we used to work together at another real estate company.
That's true.
And bro, I remember he had like a night shift at a very famous hotel here, and then he will come straight to the workplace, and sometimes you can even see him like falling asleep on his desk
Yeah.
because he would get basically I don't know how many hours a day you probably be working. So
Yeah.
that's no joke. Like the discipline in him, and it's actually pretty encouraging because he was like, just going at it, like trying to pursue that dream,
I mean, everything's great. I raised a family, and now I'm here at Homeinc. I love what I do.
My story begins in Dominican Republic, and until I got to a point that I wanted to come definitely to the United States because I think at some point I felt like my dreams are bigger than my island. Ironically, I like when I look back in my life, I always kind of like was correlated with real estate without even knowing. I grew up in a very creative family. My dad, he's a TV producer, and I remember my mom. She created a magazine, a real estate magazine. One of the first internship, and then I grew very fast in the company. I worked for a bank. I worked for a bank in the marketing department.
I remember you telling me.
And ironically, it was the mortgage department. So I was there, so dealing with houses, and but I was just doing marketing. I remember I used to do like all the billboards. Like they will pay me nothing, but I look back and I'm like, oh my goodness, my work was, you can visualize it, and a lot of people see that, and I did that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was pretty interesting. But you don't know that now. Then you know it now.
You know it now, yeah.
Yeah, and then I lived here in the United States when I was a teenager. Then I went back, and then when I say finally, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna come back, and I just try to find my first job. I landed in one of the biggest loan modification companies in the United States.
Wow.
I started growing fast there, and but then I was going crazy because he was like in the movies, like it was like contracts, like pile of like loans. I quit with no plan B, no nothing, and for about like 4 months, I was just like watching TV, and I was seeing a lot of HGTV.
That was my favorite show.
Yeah, so
Oh
I was
man,
watching a lot. Of,
we got that in
yeah,
common.
so I was watching a lot of HGTV, and I'm like, what can I, like? This is pretty interesting. So I think I can do this. I can because I'm creative. I like to talk to people, and I like to do things in the house. So what can I do? And I had a decision to make. Either I go back to school and study like design or whatever, or I find something. So I started working 3 jobs. Like I was designing garages and I was designing closet.
I
So
remember that.
so I
Yes.
was working 3 jobs, but all of them were teaching me how to do all these things. So it was pretty good, pretty fun until I started reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, and that shifted my mind. And I'm like, look, you know what? I want to be in real estate. And I was like, now my attention was geared to all of those investors because I made a transition to just designing kitchens, and I was designing high end Italian kitchen cabinetry, and I will go to these investors' houses, and I'm like, I want to be on the other side. So how do I go to the other side? I went to this seminar. It shifted my mind, and I'm like, I need to get into real estate, and that's when I went to that company that I met you, and I was hired on the spot. I started learning a lot about real estate, about investing, acquiring real estate, and that's how everything changed. And then right after that, I found Homeinc, and then that was like a new level. Like when you play Mario and you have level 1, 2, 3. This is like a next level, and it was a great experience because I was able to grow, had the freedom to do the things that I want, and at the same time have the support of the leaders here at Homeinc to do things that I never thought it was going to be possible to do. So I am very grateful for that.
Before you end, just to add on to what George says, I mean, I've known George for quite a while, and I've watched George grow from the company that we worked at to where we're at now. And George has come a long way from what I've seen. And I know he's grown even before then, but he's accomplished so much. And there's more that he does that he's not mentioning that he does. And I have so much respect for George, for what he's doing right now. He's inspiring people. Like you say, he's a people person. He talks to people. He talks to me sometimes. And there's times when I was down, I remember, he probably doesn't remember when he was working at other company, when I was working 14, 15, 16 hours, George used to tell me some things that's to keep me motivated and keep going. And that helped me a lot, because during those times it was pretty rough. But George was one of the people in my life, I would say, another strong male figure in my life that's, even though I think George is younger than me, but I learned from him, If a person has something that you could learn something from, doesn't matter how old they are, the wisdom is wisdom. That's how I take it. So I just want to say I thank you for that.
Cool, man. And you know what? I wanna thank another person, God. Praise to God, because in Him I rest, and He's the one that provides the wisdom.
Amen. That's right.
Boom.